I can see the back of your head.
You look like
My
you.
best view. Did I miss the spot?
Nope.
Perfect.
We can raise the camera a little bit.
I think the goal is eventually to have it on that
Probably gonna be
TV.
on
Oh, yeah, no.
All right, we'll call this meeting to order at 6 p.m. with a flag salute, please. Pledge allegiance
To the flag,
of the
United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, are there any adjustments or amendments to be made to the agenda? So he's like, I checked all the boxes.
Okay, sure, no.
Okay, well, with that, we will consider the agenda approved. And first item is our consent agenda. Fair motion to consider.
Yeah.
Okay.
Correction.
Okay.
To the consent agenda.
Okay.
Do that now?
Yeah.
Okay. Just for, to prevent confusion, it looks like the note from my edit from last time was put under the financial checklist versus the minutes. I think that note should be listed under A, so there's no confusion rather than item B.
On the actual minute.
On the
correct.
actual, nope, on our, yes, on our minutes for the, yes,
On the PDF.
yes. I'm sorry. I had made a correction last time for a vote, and it looks like it got placed under the financial checklist versus the former minutes. So just for clarity, I think it belongs under item A.
Okay.
So there's no confusion.
All right, well, there can be a motion to consider with the amendment made. The board would like. Or different motion.
I move to approve the minutes as corrected. The correction is correct.
Just the minutes. Do you want?
Oh,
Do you guys want to
correct.
pull the minutes out, or
Just
do you
the
want to
agenda.
approve the consent agenda?
Yeah. I will change that motion. I move to approve the consent agenda with the adjustment to the minutes as suggested.
All right, there's a motion. Is there a second?
I'll second the motion.
All right. Is there any discussion? All right, Laura, can you do a vote?
George,
Yes.
Jamie,
Yes.
Russ,
Yes.
Lauren,
Yes.
Christie,
Yes.
motion carries 5-0.
Thank you. Any patron comments this evening? Didn't see any hands popping up on the board. So we'll move right into the superintendent K-12 principal report.
Right. We are in business. It's in the building. It was a great day. But just going through the report facilities, they were able to wrap everything up so that we could start today. I know that took an immense amount of work and teamwork. I just want to give a shout out that this was a huge project on a really old building. And even though it was frustrating for a lot of families and what's going on and why is it taking so long, they did a 4.5-month job in about 2 with an extremely old building. And so I think just understanding all of the pieces that go into that and being really positive about the changes is where our community needs to focus. So thank you for helping make sure that that got completed. I want to thank the cleaning company that came in. There was just a lot of pieces and our staff jumping in and pitching in wherever it needed to be to make sure that it got done. So that is great. And our fire alarm system passed all the inspections as well. So that is great. Schedules and systems. So one of our first orders of business, we're talking about the strategic plan that the board is working on. We're talking about how do we create these core values so that we can build systems and identity of our students, our graduates. What do we want to create here? We have a lot of entities, I think, doing that critical work, but not everyone talking to each other. And I asked the staff how many knew about the strategic plan and what was in that, and no one did. And I think I asked this, if I asked the strategic planning committee what the core values of the school district are, I don't think they could answer that. So really trying to work in all these little facets and bring it together to ensure that we have one shared vision for this school district. So we went through a values worksheet. Well, it's not the process, but it starts with a worksheet, and just tons of collaboration. And so if you select the values poster, this is what we came to terms on. We had a lot of similarities and there were a few outliers, but kindness, number one. Kindness needs to be modeled in everything that we do. And that includes being inclusive, respectful to yourself, to others, understanding of different perspectives, compassionate, empathetic, and identifying and getting needs met in a respectful, responsible way. Perseverance was another one. We talked about grit, being adaptable, adjusting. Life's hard. It's going to throw things at you. So how do we teach that and model it and just keep reinforcing it as a Wolverine here so that they can, model that throughout their life. And then integrity was also on the top of the list. As a Wolverine, I'm honest, holding myself accountable and doing what's right no matter who's watching, and then coming forward when needed, whatever might come up. So that's what we're basing all of our work around. We talk about our PBIS system. It's really hard to look for the good in kids when we don't even know what we're looking for. So we had to come to terms with what is core to us, what is critical to us, and then we can kind of model that for the kids. So that was a great activity. Everyone's excited about it. The new logo that the art program put together, which I think is mostly English, but everyone loves it. So that has been a great activity and really kind of propelled us into the work that we've done to get started this year. Again, I know I've talked about it, but September 19th, we have a big PD coming, and I think we have some people from LBL and we have Eddyville staff coming. It's going to be a big team training, which will be great. Again, on social emotional trauma informed practices, the impact of learning on the brain when trauma is present and how to adjust for that. We're also going to be starting our personal and authentic book study. It was really difficult to get enough copies for everyone, so we're going to do the certified staff semester 1, classified semester 2, and then build from there. We are getting the MAC and Medicaid billing, it's going to be implemented. I don't know how long that is going to take. I have a meeting with LBL on Thursday. I did a 3-hour training on it already, so we will get that going to generate some revenue for the district. Community engagement continues to be vibrant and it's building. We have our big open house this Wednesday, a big ice cream social, so I hope that'll be well attended and just a great time to bring people together in the community for the district. Let's see, we're working on that leadership team. I need my advisory team put together. So I'll start with our students and then bring in some newcomers. And if you look on the findings, I think that it's in there, Lori. Oh, sorry, making sure. In there. The survey results.
They're in there, they're page
Yeah, it's in
3.
here.
Yeah, 3 and
It's
4.
in there.
Mhm.
Okay, perfect. I didn't know if it was an attachment. But you can see the takeaways. I don't have to read through all of it. You can read that. It was positive and informative information. And again, we have these parameters we have to work in, but it's still nice to hear from the community and the stakeholders what's important to them, what they're nervous about, and what to be aware of. And so key takeaways, the majority support the device ban for personal electronic devices in the classroom, but concerns with safety, storage, and consistency were brought up. Families see potential academic and social benefits if it's implemented well, and I think consistently. However, clear communication, fair application, and emergency planning will be critical for success. So appreciate everyone who took time to fill that out. And that is all I have other than
How did that go today?
actually, I didn't hear
Good.
any problems. So if there were little problems, they were handled and addressed. Yeah,
Good job, students
yes,
and teachers.
yes. And then I did share in here the master curriculum. So I know we had some conversation around maybe some gaps in areas. And so I shared that with you. It's streamlined, all the core requirements are there. It's all approved curriculum. So
And it's complete, no gaps.
no gaps.
Perfect.
Are there any questions, comments, or additional?
No, I went and looked at that science curriculum and I want to go back to science class.
The generation genius or the,
Yeah.
yeah, I know.
I want to go back to science.
Any other questions?
I had questions about the constructions, but I might just leave it.
Okay. Don't like that.
All right, thank you very much. Let's move into our monthly enrollment for 2025-2026. Laura, do you want to go through?
Yeah, so I did a preliminary last Thursday of what I could see, and I think it said 225,
226.
226. Ran it again today, we're up to 230.
Nice.
Happened to be talking to Don at the same time, and he said that's all good. Remind you that we budgeted for 225, so barely above, but we're above, so we're at least on track in that area.
Remind us the trending of the first like 2 weeks of school, even maybe that first month of school.
So at the places that I've been at
Mhm.
before, typically there are families that just, they register late.
Mhm.
They come in late, they've maybe been on extended vacations, I'm not really sure what the reasons. But I could see that number jumping another 4 or 5 pretty easily.
Yeah, we have one family that's out of state currently, so won't be enrolling until October, and that'll be 2 more. So,
I think can I ask an additional question on Learn at Home? It looks like we have we have 2 classes, 3, 4, looks really big actually, 15 and 18. But then K1, 2, 5, and 6 are pretty low, and don't maybe cover even the cost of the teacher. Sounds like by the eye contact, you've already considered some of this. What does that kind of look like in that strategy?
I think, what's challenging is those numbers can change, and that's where that extended ADM comes into play, because you get to take the higher of the 2 years that you're working with. Because it's really hard to hire a teacher,
Right.
not fire, but lay off,
Yeah.
you know, that back and forth. And so I think we watch how this works this year. And potentially, you know, if it continues to trend down, then we might have to talk about blends.
Okay. I thought there was blends in place. Maybe I'm
currently,
In Britain.
K1
Or
is
blends.
together
Yeah.
and
in
2,
Learn
3
at Home.
is together. 4
Okay.
stands alone, and then 5, 6 is together,
Okay.
Online or in?
online.
Yeah.
Okay, so these numbers are individual, but the classrooms would be then 11 and 18, not
Yeah.
Mhm.
6, 5, 3. Okay, got it.
And 5, 6 is
Yeah,
combined.
And 5, 6 is.
Okay.
Okay, that makes
Oh,
much
yeah,
more
yeah,
sense.
yeah, yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
so that, sorry, I may not have asked that
That's
correctly.
okay. Yeah. But there's always room to look at the patterns, look at what's being projected.
I have
Never know
also
exactly,
seen
but
some frustrations with parents wanting to put their kids in some online programs, not here in our districts. I've seen it out that are being turned down by their district, that are pretty frustrated with that. So being refused.
the host district.
Yeah. They don't have to release over a certain percentage.
Right.
They have to offer 2 alternatives, don't they?
I'm not certain. I haven't done the research on that. I just know that there is a potential, if battles are won, that more students may trickle in. His parents are wanting to move kids into different spaces, so.
Thank you for answering all those questions. Appreciate that.
And on your document, on the first column, it says 24.
I didn't
For the
catch that
next
one,
meeting.
Zora.
Don't worry about it. It's okay. Just to drive Soren crazy.
The title says 25, 26.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we're just doing it for you.
Just mess with Thorns.
Fabulous.
There you go.
All right, any other questions? All right, Mr. Harris, athletics and activities.
Am I here? All right. Good evening, everybody. Nice to see everyone. First off, I just want to say it was really great to see everybody in the building today, because that building's been missing that energy of all those kids running around and going crazy. So it was good to see everybody. And I think we had a good start to the day. So Didn't hear anything negative or anything like that. So it was a good start to the day. Couple of things. I was going to give you a bunch of high school football updates. We did go and play Powers. I know everybody's pretty much aware of, how we've been doing and things like that. I looked up our rankings for volleyball today, and looks like we're sitting around 14th in 1A right now. Girls are playing really strong. We won one and lost one in football so far. We have a bye this week in football, so Friday night we're this week we're going to start working on getting the field painted, because the following week we do have our first home game against Jewel on the 19th. So we're excited for that. They're excited to come, because I told them, I said, you guys get to be the first one to play on our field this year. So he was like, hey, look at us. So anyway, the girls, they've just been pretty much going 3-0, 3-0, 3-0. I know this weekend at the tournament sounded like they just didn't play maybe up to their potential, but I think that they all got some good experience and things like that. I did pick up a tournament for this weekend before I confirmed. I checked with Ricky to make sure that we were going to have enough of the girls to play, because I know some folks probably made plans because we didn't have anything scheduled that day. So it looks like we're going to have enough to go. So we went ahead and confirmed that. So, gosh, I'm trying to think, the Grand View Christian or something like that, but it's over in Molalla. So they'll be traveling to Molalla. Country Christian. Yeah. Thank you. Yeah. Country Christian for the Cougar whatever. So yeah, so it just kind of came across this morning, and I was like, hey, Ricky, they need somebody. And as soon as I sent them an email, I got a response back in like 5 minutes. So they're excited to have us there. So looks like we'll be taking the place of North Lake. So it looks like there might be some really good competition for them there too, as well, this weekend. So I think that'll be good for them. Middle school volleyball started this afternoon after school. We got a few more students to come out, so that was good. I think when I talked to Mackenzie today, it looked like we were at 14, but she was thinking there might be one or two more coming out. So those are good numbers for our middle school program, that developmental program. Of course, middle school football has been practicing since last Thursday. Just want to remind everybody that tomorrow we have middle school pictures. We were going to do the parent meeting the same day, but then when I noticed that we had the open house, I decided that probably would have more parents there during the open house, and so we'd be able to get a few more parents in to have those quick meetings with our coaches and go over some things with them. So we'll be doing that on Wednesday during that parent meeting, and we're going to start that about 4:45. Pictures are at 3:30 tomorrow. Football team practice on the field today, so that's good news. Talked to Larrick and Robert, and Robert and I walked around, and Larrick was out there, and we looked at the field. They're practicing on it today. So like I said, we're going to cut it short here. We were supposed to get a couple of days of rain. We watered today, so hopefully Thursday, I think Keenan said he could probably get it mowed Thursday short, and then we could get going on getting it painted and really making it look good down there for our first home game. So and then talking to Miss Stacy, we had set the date for homecoming for October 10th last year before we ended the school year, because of the limited number of home games that we had. So I wanted to make sure that we got those things in with our home games. Of course, we were able to get Jewel to come and play on the 19th. So we're going to have that one, and then we'll do the second game home will be on the 10th against gosh, who are we playing on the 10th? I can't think of who we're playing, but anyway, so we'll have homecoming on the 10th of October, and then on what do you call it? Halloween. That's what, sorry. Halloween on the 31st, we have our last home game against Eddyville, which will be our senior night. And then we were talking about possibly doing some fun stuff, maybe a canned food drive. And if they dress up and come to, to the game or whatever, then we will, give them a break on their, admission, or maybe let them in for free or something like that. They bring 2 cans of food or something, and we'll just donate that back to the, to the community food bank. and then also maybe do a trunk or treat. So we were kind of thinking maybe we could do a trunk or treat out front before, so all the kids could have a time to do that. I know sometimes a lot of people leave over Halloween and are gone. So we just thought maybe we'd do something like that. So yeah, we got a lot going on. I talked to my student aides. I've had 3 student aides this year, and the 3 girls and I sat down today, and so we've got a plan for homecoming, and so they're really excited to get all that stuff prepared and ready to go. And like when that day comes, we'll have everything planned and ordered and all that stuff. They'll be ready to go. So that's about it. Like I said, the football field looks good. Still some weeds in there, but the grass is really taking over now. So should look good for our first home game. So we're excited about that. And if you have any questions.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Not one question. Oh, geez. All right. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Up next, our seismic report. No, I'm totally ahead of myself. We're gonna go with business manager report.
Yes, and I just found out today that Don's not able to be here, so he did say
Mhm.
that if you had any questions, you can ask me, but you could always email him. That information.
Would you prefer we email you those questions though, that you would then direct through
Sure.
him?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's great. Yeah,
Just gets a little overwhelming with
It
5
does.
people.
yeah, right. That's
There's
right.
really not much that's changed
Mm-mm.
since school's been out of sight. We already had everything covered, so.
I definitely was just gonna call out that it looks really nice to have our audit done early. I know that, I know the state can't do anything until everybody gets their audits in. But having us be looking at being more prepared every single year in that
By example.
really feels like we're getting our ducks in a row. So thank you to everybody that's been a priority. And I agree with Russ, there's not a whole lot to discuss yet.
Just
Right, well, then we will now move into the seismic report. And, you guys can be here next month if you want us to just keep it on the agenda. No.
Thank you. Good evening, folks. So yes, we wanted to be in person because we're anticipating this is probably the last report we'll have for the board. So we will be doing, as Nancy said, we'll be doing some closeout activities this next month. I think as maybe everybody has had a chance to take a look at the condition of things, perhaps the roof, the front painting of the gym. So that's nice to see. And I think Stacy already mentioned that the contractor's work was about a week and a half behind by the time they really finished for final cleaning and occupancy. And there's a number of reasons, and I'm happy to go into some details if you would like. But overall, we do feel like they did a very good job considering the circumstances that they ended up facing. And right now, it appears that we've brought the project in a little under budget, but we still need to take a look. A couple things, that's what this next month is about, the financial closeout with them. As far as the remaining work, there is some roof work that needs to be completed. They expect that to be done here, and it's really just flashing together right now. We understand all of the roofing is down, and so they expect that to be done in a couple of days. And then have a crew here now, actually. They're going to be working starting at noon on school days outside of school areas. They're going to work into the evening, and we're going to hear more details tomorrow. But the big picture we heard earlier this morning is they expect to finish all the interior items, punch list items. There's mostly a lot of aesthetic elements, nothing really in the way. And they expect those to be done here, majority of them this week, with a few items that may trend next week. So we expect that by next week, from what they're telling us, that they will be completely done and gone. And Stacy did talk to Andy earlier today. They're going to have that parking lot vacated by the end of hopefully earlier. So anyway, that's in a nutshell. She did mention fire alarm completion and everything else. So again, we're just going to be wrapping up, and for us, it's kind of an end in the era. We've been here for 2.5, almost 3 years, and bond programs and these things. And we'll be talking again. There are a couple of huge future applications that may go in, but after this project for the seismic work, you may or may not choose to do that. The great thing about this seismic project is it really did the core of the school gym. It did the stage, it did those areas that are next to it. So really in terms of community support, it really accomplished a fantastic thing for the school. We're very happy that it's painful. Every seismic project is. We, to be honest with you, we never really looked forward managing a seismic project, even for the best design teams, the best construction teams. It's challenging. So, please.
So I want to tell you about a couple of wins because I think it's important to all this frustration. Number one, after all of that warning about how long it was going to take, I turned in the order for the plaque today and it'll be ready tomorrow. So, of course, the long-term that is now, that's like the last component we needed to get pulled together to close up the seismic grant. So you can finish all that paperwork and get it off the table, not have to think about it until the next one comes through. The other one that was a really big win and it's a big win in my mind was about 3 months ago, the county came back to us and said, oops, we forgot to get floodplain applications. And oh, by the way, you guys are really close to the limit. The county has this policy that when your permits, your open permits and your construction comes up to a certain value, you have to bring everything up to code. And if we had reached that value, it was gonna mean we had to raise the locker room floors. Okay, it was like really ridiculous things. Came really, really close. And I told Kristen, if you don't get to apply for a permit for anything. But I checked with Morgan today and the only things open left are fire alarm, electrical and seismic. So now that fire alarm is complete, that one's gonna be immediately off. So we expect within the next month, all of your permits are gonna be cleared on all of the projects from the beginning, the bond, the CTE building, everything. And you guys will be back ready to.
Yay.
I think we need to breathe a little bit before our next.
I don't know that I'm ready for that.
Keeping it
I do have one question just for the record, in case any parents are out there worrying. We have confirmed that the employees here on site with students have been vetted, correct?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
they've all had
Background check.
Okay, I
Yeah.
just want to confirm.
We
that.
actually were doing that during the summer too.
Right, because there were little, people in and out randomly, but just since school's going and they're here when students are present, I just wanted to ask.
Bryn actually sent over another receipt today, but they've gotten more, so.
Good.
yes, they've all-
I was like, I just have this question. So I thought I remembered we were gonna keep like the roofing for the gym, but it's all new shingles. So we didn't keep the roofing.
Remember, yeah, actually, yeah, I'd be glad to talk about that. So the intention was we are gonna have the roofer look at that
Mm.
and pull that roofing off and say, hey, is this
Right.
salvageable? And they did start to take that off and said, this isn't looking as good as it did. And I think we actually had in one of our reports, and I think you may have lost some of the detail for us, but, and also think we're not gonna provide a warranty for it. So we discussed that with Christine Keenan at the time and really under the circumstances, and we talked to the architect too, you're gonna get a much better product for no more money.
Right.
Because I don't think they were gonna give us much on the value of that. Anyway, we're gonna have to negotiate that. Wasn't great. So anyway, we've got a nice 30-year new roof on the gym. So yeah, that one didn't work out.
With warranty.
Yeah.
Yeah, I must have missed that. When it went on, I was like, oh, look.
I
at that.
know.
I asked the same question.
Yeah, I'm not, yes, you did. I'm not sure we actually emphasized, we had good conversation with Krista and everything else, but I don't know if we emphasized it or report. I think
No
we
worries.
Had it in there, it was probably lost. Soren, you had another question.
Oh, specifically about the concessions area. I know there are home games starting next Monday. They would like to.
Yeah, thank you. I forgot to mention that. So that is one thing there was a conversation with Christine Keenan during the construction, said, do you want us to just put back what was there? It's not great. Or we just build something new. And so they're planning on building something new and we're waiting to hear tomorrow. I think we talked with Stacy and said, we'd really like to have it back. Thought the date we heard was the 19th, but if there's an update to that, we'll talk to them.
Yeah, realistically, I don't get it done until then.
We're happy to give them whatever date you like, so if Monday is the date they'd like to have it done, I don't know that they can.
Right.
But we can talk to you about working.
That's kind of like a you decision though, correct? Like,
Yeah, and we already kind of have a backup plan. If the 19th is great and we have tables that we can set up, they'll operate as all food.
Tables in our fridge.
Yeah, exactly.
We're hoping it will be great, but it won't be pretty by the new.
Yeah, it'll be a
Mr.
little,
Lynch's mural.
But one
Go-
same plan.
Yay!
they maybe do just say framing, not necessarily the door and the window right now, secure place for it. And they are gonna do that versus have a lift up there, the idea discussed. Stacy and Keenan, sliding window that they would use that themselves out of there, so. Yes, that's all done.
The other question I had was about the pictures of the kitchen where the south wall was all windows, now appears to be just a blank wall. Is that a permanent?
Oh, absolutely. There and there's a couple of other places, staff room, in fact, all of the classrooms have that same condition, and that is because that structural element that really reinforces it had to go into that window space, so all of them lost one window in those same corners.
And the light coming through in the corner, that's not like I mean,
That's not permanent, no. Yeah, that actually relates to the sheet though, because that started today, because what they need to do, that's where the seismic joint exterior goes over that. So that's intentionally cut into the wall because the building has to flex at that location. There's other locations like that in 2 other classrooms. So it will be covered up, but it's an intentional cut in those elements, so flex into that zone. That's where the newly reinforced building meets the old structure. And if they don't do that, the purpose of a seismic joint, it will just shake that old building apart if it's a seismic. Any other question?
Funny.
Okay,
all right,
well, thank you very much.
thank you.
Thank you.
Work with you and the trust that you've shown us. We're sorry to see it come to an end. Not sorry to see this project done. Sorry to see it.
Now hopefully you can just come to the school for events and enjoy them, rather than looking with a critical eye on the next step. and work to do.
Safe.
Yeah.
coming to school board meetings just for entertainment.
Fair, witty
Thank you.
personality. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Move our school board meetings to the gym.
Next up is our safety committee report.
So we haven't had an official safety committee meeting because of all the stuff going on. But we did have WHA come and do inspection on our playground since we took out the pea gravel and put in bark chips. And I attached it. He tested, he's got this really cool thing. It just looks like a big kettlebell thing. He just climbs to the top and drops it and it tells him what the impact is, all that stuff. And we found some gaps where there was not quite enough bark. And so Keenan, they purchased 4 or 5 more yards and then put them all in those red zones. So it should, and then the insurance adjuster also made the comment that when new bark goes down, it will pack down. And so probably for the next couple of years, we'll have to keep purchasing and keep building it up, but
So the report that's in there is not the current standing. today,
no,
because that's
that's
been-
what it
so
was,
those
and
are-
it's been fixed and
Great.
I was just playing with my 2.5-year-old over there Saturday, and
please don't tell me how the ball's off.
no, I was like, we should level this out. Like, why are all these mounds of bark and
There we
just
go.
kicking it around? So I'm glad I didn't get a rake.
So that
Helping out.
requires continued maintenance to keep the,
For a list, I mean, it's always gonna need maintenance,
Yeah.
because it's gonna pack and, you know, there's gonna
Who
be
would've
stuff
thought?
kicked out and things like that, but definitely, it's gonna be more maintenance probably for the first 2 years, just because of the, packing down of the chips. as
Let's see which
opposed to-
areas are popular.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Thank you for the update. Yeah, any other questions?
I'm glad to hear the red. I was discouraged by the
Yeah.
red, but I'm glad to hear that was fixed.
We're gonna have to buy like foam or something.
And I was
There's-
thinking, if you have to move those chips, my son will be really frustrated.
I guess we just have to like, I don't know. I mean, they're definitely gonna move. They're
Thank
wood
you.
chips.
Oh,
They're
100%.
like, so
Yep.
someone will have that detention
and under the.
job, I'm sure.
Swings, you know, when they drag their feet and go
Right.
down the slide and just in general, kids.
Don't
kicking
break
it
down.
around or digging in it, so.
Okay, great.
Thank you. All right. I think that this is the first time I've ever seen this. But we do not have anything under new
I
or
was like,
old business. It was
thought it was
not
an
a
error.
typo, it's not an error. But we do have some policies to review. So the first one, this is our first reading, and if I understand this correctly, Stacey, but do correct me, this is the OSBA guidance, personal electronic devices. So it's not us modifying our original one.
Correct.
It's the ones that they're providing us.
It's like a whole, because our previous one is a,
Like a responsible usage of
I think
technology.
so, yes, I
Yes.
think it's a name,
Yeah.
yes. And so this is the actual personal electronic device policy that we have to have in place.
Okay, so then I have a question. Do we need to then also bring back the responsible use of technology and ensure that these, like, that we're pointing to the right set, like titles, names, just things like that, maybe some grammar and wording? Is there something we need to look at in that space?
I'm trying to think, with responsible use is more than just personal electronic
Yes.
devices. So I think that we are going to need to align that language because we need to have both.
Mhm.
Have both policies. That answer your question?
Yeah, so we can cover in that next meeting. Okay. So in this space, there's the AR and the policy. Does anybody have any questions or discussion they want to talk about these for the first read?
I have multiple things I've noted about it, but I can wait till the second reading to talk about.
I had some,
stuff, or-
I had some things I noted while I was reading it. Also, I was gonna maybe talk through them, and it was like,
I
just in the first line, like student possession or use of personal, and it was like, which did the board want to do, and which to kind of you suggest, and what that wanted to look like. Sorry,
No, I mean, are the parentheses like what
you
we,
could take
It's
that.
an option. You
Yeah.
and this is from the state?
From
OSBA.
OSBA.
OSBA,
lawyers,
right?
yeah.
So,
So
Okay.
in the past, Krista was very kind and went through and
Mm.
took and put what language she wanted. We wanted to give it to you raw, so you could see.
oh no, I like
what
it
they're
raw.
doing, And
Yeah.
then next month we'll take out the brackets and.
I'm just confused
Yeah.
by the states. It seems totally contrary to what they said 3 months ago, which is they couldn't have them on their person backpack, right? Like, I mean, I'm just reading and I was reading and I was like, this seems, but I didn't know at that point where it came from.
Gotcha.
Backpedal,
And
backpedal,
Well,
backpedal.
it feels a little bit more flexible
Yeah.
to the district, so I can say I appreciate that.
Yes.
Oh, I do too. It just seems like a lot of ado about nothing, which is why I didn't bother to go to the meeting at OSBA. Yeah, well, I just heard from a couple other
Yeah.
people that, well, the little roundtable one was enough for me to be like, all right, this is totally, they don't know what's going on. So,
Yeah, I definitely think that the use of personal electronic device, I mean, it aligns with what our community is saying, and how we don't want that. We want a system that prevents use, like you're not distracted. The possession of can get really, what does that mean? And we've told kids they can keep it in their backpack if it's in their locker and not on them. And,
I
you
think,
know,
I'm gonna say, from my point of view, and please
Yeah.
disagree, I say use. If we're managing use, not possession, and possession gets really hard with theft and
All of it.
breaks and things like that. And so, because our other policy that we have in place also talks about that we're not accountable for it. But if we are possessing it, then does that change that accountability factor and become liable for that? So I like use.
yeah,
I like use for the fact that we're also teaching the life skill of self-management. Like, we all as
Mhm.
adults have our device in our pocket at work, right? We have to manage that appropriately, and that's a great opportunity to utilize that skill in education. So,
yeah, this version just seems to give a lot more autonomy back to the school. which is what we wanted in the first place. Yeah, so I'm happy with that. We can look at it for next month.
Yeah, did you, your thoughts or
Oh.
questions though?
Well, I have some things that may not be changes we would make right off the bat, since this is OSBA's first policy. There's like, what says devices that do text and messages and internet. It just makes me feel like there could be a device out there that does one or the other, but not all three. And does that allow them to use a phone that's not hooked up to cellular? You can use
Yeah,
Wi-Fi
it
to get to
does.
the internet.
Yeah.
I don't like that. I'd like it to say or.
I think that's fair, cause like an Apple Watch, right? If, or even, or maybe it's not an Apple Watch, but any of the watches, they might just text.
I don't want them using that. Our policy says they has to do all three to be banned.
Their policy.
And then
Well, and I think that because when you go back to the intention of it, right, we want to minimize the
Distraction.
usage and the distraction of the electronic
just
device.
because it doesn't make phone calls, doesn't mean that they should be able to get on the internet with it. Facebook or whatever.
The or. instead of and.
I'd like it to say or just look at the phrasing. Or commas maybe.
I would say commas and then the last thing or.
Yeah.
So receiving calls, comma, text messages,
Comment.
or, yeah, or.
And or, you should just put and or.
Okay.
That would probably be
Yeah.
the legal way to
Covers
do
it
it.
all.
Yeah.
And there's just a typo on page 2. The
Okay.
device would be held in, it was held and at the front office. I think it should be held in or at the front office. Page 2, number 2.
Okay.
Handheld and.
Oh, in, you're right.
I think it should be in.
Until OSBA.
I would say we should,
Edit there.
I told them about other things.
Same.
And then the very last paragraph in this talks about like, pornography and stuff. I'm like, does it really belong in this policy? I mean, I know it's a
That's the
concern,
acceptable use, but
It-
it.
but I feel like that lives in another policy also.
Yeah, but I think it needs to
needs
be in
all.
here
And we
as
have
well.
Multiple topics in multiple policies. They'll cross over, so
Mhm.
that one probably. needs to be-
And then
I think it's just a reiteration.
the other thing that I have on page 3 talks about filing for an exemption. But in the AR refers to it as an exception. And about, does that language need to be the same? I'm not really clear on exemption versus exception. Exempted from the policy.
I would say that, yeah, exemption is probably it should be an exception, I would say, because exemption means you're exempt pretty much from it all
From the whole policy,
versus
right.
an exception to the rule is, right?
Then there was, they gave us the option of like how to do appeals, and I would really strongly feel that they do not use the public complaint process to file an appeal for this.
Mm.
So they could use the KLAR to file for an
but that's,
appeal.
That's
that's,
the-
that's a staffing or public or parenting complaints. I think they have to use that one. Cause they're another
But
complaint.
is it a complaint? This is just a simple appeal to have their kid be able to possess the phone in school. I don't need it, I don't think it needs to go through the formal complaint procedure to file for an exception to this cell phone thing.
Can you maybe ask a question on that? Cause like, cause
can.
I think I hear what you're saying.
They
I think
gave
that,
us an option, it said
Yeah.
to the administrator or.
oh, could we file? like
With the superintendent in
Oh,
accordance
But
with.
I
I hear what
strongly
you're
feel that
saying.
it not go through that same.
Yeah, okay,
It's
so-
not really.
I mean, they have the right to escalate it to that if they're not satisfied with that
Right,
last
so it's like-
step.
Appeals
Yeah,
can be filed
so-
with the superintendent. If they don't like the superintendent's decision, then that's the KL complaint that they
Mm-hmm.
are saying that there's a violation of policy and that's where like that
Mhm.
complaint comes in. That's a separate issue. They're not actually coming to the board asking us to overturn an operational decision around that, right?
Right,
And
that's what
that
I want
what
to
you're-
avoid them going straight to the.
So it's
complaint
just
process
with,
about
they can
this.
appeals can be filed
With the
superintendent.
superintendent.
Look at how much we're solving this. Thank you.
Are we
Yeah.
talking about the AR yet?
No,
No.
that was,
In like 32 seconds, if anybody else doesn't have anything to add. All right, anything else on that one for just first read?
Pretty much covers mine.
Okay, AR. Go ahead, Soren.
On
while you kick
page
off.
2, there's a statement that says the superintendent's decision will be final. And I feel that just makes it sound like you can't appeal it. or that if your circumstances change, the superintendent's not gonna change their mind about it. Seems like
Oh, hold on.
page 2 is the only notation I can find.
That's a,
It's
it's
a
a suggestion.
suggestion.
I don't like having it there because it makes it sound like you'll never change your mind.
Well, I like that. Denied request, maybe. I think that that next sentence clarifies that
Mhm.
concern, even if that superintendent decision will be final is there.
So I think this is how I'm reading this. And so here, so if we change this one, it would be, the school administration decisions will be issued and communicated to the parents or guardian within 10 school days of receipt and can be appealed with the superintendent. Cause that's what we
Period.
said,
That's what we just said.
within 10 school days of issuance. The superintendent's decision will be final. Denied request may be submitted if circumstances change so the superintendent's decision will be final, tells me that this is about this process. Cause we're taking the KL and the complaint process out. They can, there's nobody's ever told they can't issue a formal complaint if they need to or
Mhm.
like to. But we cannot overturn this. I don't think we should be overturning this operational
Exactly.
decision because also if this has to do with an IEP or a 504, we have no business knowing that about students.
And it does state that they could be resubmitted if circumstances change.
Yeah, I just find it odd. It's right because in my mind, I was reading that. It's like, it sounds like you're just shutting it off then, but then right after that, it says you can do something else about it. I just don't like the wording. Like, and also it should be obvious.
I don't even know if it needs to be there.
don't need to
Like
go-
if
yeah, we
you,
don't need to
And
go-
Judy just doesn't.
if you read it without it, like within 10 days of issuance, denied request may be resubmitted if circumstances change up. I mean, it's kind of offensive. It could also be like, the final decision will be made by the superintendent, right? It seems offensive because the way they worded it, the superintendent's decision is final. It's like the judge, jury, and executioner. I don't think it's intended to be that way. But I think it has to be the superintendent's decision is final because that's ultimately over the
Top of the
district,
chain,
right?
yeah.
Like, so, but I don't really think it matters either way, in or out. I think it's probably just, you make a decision, you can appeal it, but
I guess when reading it with I2, it's referring to the fact that the superintendent is making the decision. Superintendent will make the final decision. That's okay. It's like, because like the superintendent's decision will be final. Yeah, we know. Superintendent makes the decision.
yeah.
It's fine.
I mean, I'm
Which is-
assuming this
so
comes
we
into
could-
play.
We just changed it to be a softer wording and that's
Yeah.
why we changed
And
it.
it's
Yeah.
in
bracket, so you
Yeah.
could take it out.
Yeah, and we can take it out too. I'm not
Yeah.
totally convicted.
Yeah, I think it's just clarifying it so that maybe a teacher tries to make a decision, or in a bigger district, maybe an assistant principal or a principal, right? Like you have to think about the layers of administration. And so it's probably just saying, if you want to throw this in, ultimately the buck stops with the superintendent. You're not coming to the governor
Yeah,
or, whatever,
Yeah.
probably with larger districts that have
just seems
principals
not gonna-
managing each
You
school.
Oh, yeah.
would make the
Like-
first decision and then the
Right,
the appeal goes to the
right,
superintendent.
right.
And I guess
Right.
the superintendent's decision would be final if it was going through the principal first and then the.
Yeah, it just seems offensive to us
Well-
because you wear all that.
What's that?
So let's think about it in the other way, right? Let's think about it as like the superintendent has approved this
Right.
appeal and the teacher doesn't let him have it in the classroom. The superintendent's decision was final.
Right. Both
There has
ways.
to be,
That
so like
begins to
it
be
supports,
a-
it supports the superintendent and that their choice is final and needs to be
Right.
used by a teacher. So maybe
Yeah.
maybe it's both
It-
sides of
yeah.
that coin that is helpful to the policy.
Sure.
I don't know.
No, I hear you.
Devil's advocate.
Just throwing all the things out there.
Hey,
But,
it's what you gotta do.
hey, we threw a lot at you, so we can.
Yeah, great. Good job, Stacy. I like this a lot better than what we talked about 3 months, 2 months ago, whatever it was.
A lot better.
Yeah. For sure.
Any other notes on these two policies? This ARM.
Nope.
All right, second reading we're up on is the GBC staff ethics. Um. Let's start with that one. Any questions?
Question.
Page 2 is the big, mostly blank page that
Oh,
has a floating R up there somewhere.
Number 5 is just floating.
So,
Yeah, we just
Format.
need to.
Yeah.
And there's just an R hanging out of it too.
During
We've had
regular. Regular.
Those are easy. The content, oh.
Yeah.
And I was
content.
questioning all this stuff about gifts. Is that language mostly out of state rules and laws?
It is.
Okay, so because I
Go
had
to
some
ethics trainings
concerns
and,
about the exceptions. There's a lot of stuff you could get in the exceptions, but
Mhm.
I was like, I think this is state rules.
It-
I don't really know that we can mess with that. Because you get there's an exception for a journal subscription. Like some of them are like hundreds of dollars, professional journal subscription.
Right.
It could be like, I want you to get a contract with us. Oh, and by the way, I just got you a subscription to education, whatever journal, and a $50 gift card. And we'll take you to a meal to talk over that contract.
You should work in my world.
Yes,
Thank you. Device.
I have seen that.
okay, is there a motion to consider on this one?
I'll make a motion to adopt policy GBC staff ethics.
Are we gonna with modifications or no?
Formatting.
With formatting modifications and grammar correction.
All right, there's a motion. Is there a second?
I'll second that.
All right. Any further discussion? Lauren?
Yes.
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 Yes. Thank you. All right, next up is the GBCR, AR, for this.
I did reach out to our legal thing contacts that I used for the first set of guidance. And he just hesitates to call it a declaration of conflict of interest because it isn't a conflict of interest under Oregon Ethic Law 244. So using that same term could be confusing when interpreted or maybe misinterpreted. He says, it's something you can definitely put in there, but if you do call it truly a conflict of interest, you really need to have a footnote indicating that the use of this term in the policy doesn't necessarily match the definition of the ORS 244. This is our term and not the ORS 244.
Thank you for reaching out. Getting that.
Yeah. I don't know that.
All right, any questions or motion to consider on this one?
I will also motion to approve GBC AR as presented.
Is there a second? Nodded.
I'll second the motion.
Thank you. Any further discussion?
I had a concern on here, but again, I think this is mostly out of state rules. Number 4, where it talks about not being able to use your teacher discount. I was like, you can use the teacher discount because of your license, not because of your position. And if we're letting people use their licenses outside of the school, why couldn't they use their license to get a discount at a store? Seems.
I think
Unusual.
it's state language though.
But I do think this is state language. Seems overly constrictive.
Okay.
That's all I had to say, but again, state language,
I will do a roll call vote.
yes.
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 Yes. Great, thank you, everybody. Next up, board comments. done? Okay.
Uh,
Oh, good.
I would just like to say thank you, Stacy, for the heavy lifting. I think my text to you this morning, I wanted to add something else. When I read your email the other day, I could just feel your energy. Not in a negative way, but in probably how frustrated it could have been over the last 6 weeks, right? 8 weeks. We hired you for this with every expectation that you would do this job to the like millionth degree. And I think I just would be remiss not to tell you that I was extremely pleased that you have performed the way you have in the situation you were. So kudos to you. Thank you for taking this position. I think sometimes as a board or just in any career path, we fail to recognize the personal sacrifices you've had to make in that short term and your family moving and everything else. And you've just not let anything drop. So I really appreciate that. And not even a lot of communication to the board about doing it, right? Just taking the reins, going forward. And I just think it's going to be a great future. So thank you.
Thanks for the trust in us to speak that candidly when things aren't always sunshine and roses. So we appreciate that trust.
Any future agenda items? I have two that I wanted to talk to you
Okay,
about.
go ahead.
I'd like to hold an executive session in October to do a check-in with the interim superintendent for the review process, but that's the schedule. But I would also like to put on new business. I would like to discuss openly for the public what we'd like to do moving forward for superintendents. So, you know, we have this position as an interim superintendent. We talked about using this as year to kind of make the choice of if we go out or do we do something different. And I'd like to have that conversation if the board would like to agree to it and then possibly vote on what that looks like.
I think we said that a check-in was in
Yeah,
November.
I'm asking to move it up to
Okay.
October so that we can also have a conversation in open session as well. So we would do the check-in in October, see how things are going. I know it's quick, but then also it kind of opens the door to what the future looks like, was my thought. Because if we waited till November, we actually need to have postings out in November for a new superintendent, whatever we decide to do in that space, like that position out there.
Or when? Or new superintendent?
Next year.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
Yeah,
so
I'm totally fine.
And
Again,
schedules on us.
again, I'm out of town. Currently, whether we end up making the trip or not depends on one big thing. But the 22nd to the 30th of October, my wife and I are currently out of town in Hawaii. So
Our meeting will be October 13th.
okay, so that's my like we're gone. The kids are here to be in school, so except for the babies. But yeah, so up until that point, I'm just that's that week I'm out. So
Perfect.
10 days, whatever it is.
Is there consensus from the board members that those two items are okay to?
Yeah, I think that's totally fine.
Mhm.
I think, yeah, that's
I knew it was gonna get I mean, we're trying to condense quite a substantial process.
Taking two things and making it into one.
Yeah,
so the 13th. What day of the week is that?
That's Monday.
Oh, okay.
It's a
And
regular-
that's
it's a
the week
regular
after
board.
our break. Oh, is
It's a
that? Oh,
regular
you're
board
just adding it. To,
Sorry, I'm just adding that to the
I
regular.
thought you
board
were
meeting.
executive
I'm not-
session. to
No,
the
I'm not
regular board meeting.
asking for anything.
I
different.
misheard you, or I wouldn't even have said.
I
Just
just
thought you were trying to add a
wanted to
separate.
make sure we were all on the
So we did
same page.
check in
at the-
before the meeting.
I think so. I think an executive session starting at 6 is kind of nice, 'cause then we can go right into the meeting.
Mhm.
But
Like we have
I don't
Do
know.
you want anything from
30
here
people wait.
specifically?
Yeah, your expectation.
Yeah, no.
Sorry.
Detailed data on how you're
No.
gonna with your goals.
Yeah, these, I think tying it to your goals. I think that's
Yeah.
it, unless the board feels differently. We have it, these are pretty informal check-ins.
Yeah,
But
you don't
also
need
I
to make
think
a PowerPoint or anything.
I think if you're feeling like the board is straying from where your expectations and or the lanes are, like I think those are those great executive session conversations. Cause it puts us all right back onto the right track together. I'll send you the language as soon as I can get into my Gmail. And it'll be the superintendent evaluation or superintendent job performance ORS. I can't remember what that looks like now. That's why.
Rate the performance of the chief executive.
Okay.
So
Assuming we're gonna have an extensive list of policy review soon.
It is.
Okay.
We honestly didn't have the capacity to get it done for this meeting.
Absolutely.
There's some
There
other,
were-
there's some
there
other
would be-
priorities.
There were two other.
Yeah, the only one we pulled out was
Was this
that.
The one for
was
September.
The one for the.
So that we can have the second read done
Committee.
for October 31st deadline.
Okay.
the strategic planning meeting on the 11th,
This
um,
Thursday.
we're just carrying forward with that, right? Like from where we were to where we're
Yes.
going.
So
Is it Vince gonna be here?
Vince will be here,
Okay.
and I think we're looking, I'm assuming and paraphrasing, so correct me if I'm wrong, I think we're assuming that you would be kind of taking the lead of if there's something that needs to change based on the work that you're doing.
That's what I
That
was
you're
curious
kind of
about.
aligning that to meet the work that you're doing with your teams in that space too.
Okay, and I would love, is there a document that I can catch up?
Yep, let me
Yep.
email
I
him
need a reminder
Yeah.
too.
and ask him to send you
Okay,
a summary.
that'd be great. Yeah.
And then you guys know I will be out of town on the 23rd for that school board work session. I was gonna try to get, like do it by Zoom, but it turns out I have a surgery in Salem the 23rd that I have to get to Bend, or to Sun River. So I'll probably be driving during the meeting. So just let
That's
me
the
know.
education work session.
Yeah, I went to the one at
I was gonna
OSBA,
say you probably
Yeah.
meant to.
so
So
I
we
think
do
it's fine.
Every year, I think what
I even got
understand-
my little thing from them that I did it and my little point or whatever that. Yeah.
certificate.
It's gold star.
I think if
You are
have-
silver or bronze.
I think if you have
I don't
specific
I didn't
questions
look.
though, or scenarios that you want us to dive into as a
Okay.
board, let's like send it to Jamie or I.
I
Um,
think a little bit for me, my biggest thing is coming with her exploring the Medicaid piece and the other stuff. Some of my big takeaways, and then just sharing, our information, whatever you guys do. Like, I mean, board training, I think
Yeah.
I learned a lot. That's what I'm saying. Like, I feel like I learned new stuff. So, sorry.
it would be recorded as well.
Okay,
And we could
cool.
probably summarize.
That's what I would.
Yeah, I really thought originally I'd be able to be at the hotel, but now I'm clearly going to be driving. So, and you guys don't like me on meetings when I'm driving. Soren thinks it's
It's
safe.
not
I
safe.
prefer you not be on
Because,
meetings in your.
but I spent a week with the rental Tesla and I used its auto steer just to see, and it was not confidence inspiring.
Well, mine has.
You
learned-
are braver
mine
than
has
I,
learned me
sir.
And does just great. Unless the line disappears all of a sudden for some reason, and then it.
Like an LC,
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Lobster Mountain.
Yeah.
All right, I'll get us back on track.
All
here.
right.
Sorry, I think we're good on future agenda items, but is there anything else that anybody wants to talk about or discuss in board? All right. Well, then some key dates. Today was the first day of school. Congratulations to all of our teachers, staff, students that made this a success. So many fun pictures got posted today. Then we had our regular board meeting, and then we'll do fall pictures tomorrow on September 9th. September 10th will be school pictures. September 10th will also be an open house from 5:30 to 7 p.m. September 11th is a strategic planning meeting from 4:15 to 6 p.m. 23rd will be a school board work session at 6 p.m. October 1st is your vision screenings. October 8th will be retakes. October 13th will be our next regular meeting. Oh, that's a list.
October 10th is homecoming.
Oh, October 10th is homecoming. Yes, so we'll get that on there for you. All right.
Yay.
With that, we will adjourn at 7:03 p.m. Thank you, everybody.
Just gotta love it when a plan comes together. I told my wife, she never trusts that I'll be home early. I said, I'll be home early tonight, baby, I promise. Promise. Thank you, everybody.